What's going on, everyone, and welcome to another weekly meal prep. As always, you can find a full list of all the groceries in the description, as well as a breakdown of all of the meals, the protein, carbs, fats, and total calories. That's in the description as well, so check it out. I'm going to start off by making some flank steak. These meals are for my sister. She wants 4 meals for lunch and 4 meals for dinner. That's just kind of her choice. She likes to eat healthy when I make her these meals, and then she also likes to, maybe grab some pizza with the family. So, I make her meals every once in a while. But I'm using some red wine dressing as a marinade, salt and pepper. I'm gonna let this marinate for about an hour. You could let it marinate longer if you would like, but that's just the marinade I went with this week. Just trying something new. But now moving on to the potatoes, I'm gonna make a roasted garlic and herb red potatoes, but I'm gonna make them in their own little mini packets. So it's just a different way to do it. Again, I wanted to try some new things. I've done a lot of these preps, and I've read a lot of your guys' comments and feedback. So yeah, it was just time to try something new. So I'm gonna weigh out all the potatoes raw. So I have 600 grams of these raw potatoes, and then I'm gonna get some foil. I'm gonna get 4 pieces of foil big enough to hold all of the potatoes. Then I have this rosemary. So I rinsed it, and now I'm gonna pat it dry. And I'm also using fresh garlic this week, which I don't know if you've ever, messed with fresh garlic, but it is a pain in the butt to you got to peel it. And then I'm using my knife here to also crack the cloves. So I'm going to use, I believe, about 1.5 cloves per roasted red potato packet. And I'll have them set aside, but I'm just going to cut them up into really small pieces. Again, that was pretty time consuming. Here you can see that at the end, they have a little stem or a portion that was connected to the bulb, so I'm cutting that. And then what you see is me chopping up garlic for the spaghetti I'm also making. So then I'm going to take 150 grams of the red potatoes. I'm going to take one of the servings of garlic that I had, take 2 pieces of rosemary, get some extra virgin olive oil, salt and pepper, and that is it. And then I'm going to kind of fold it together, as you can see, and just make sure you get it nice and closed. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to look perfect, but that's really the process. And then I'm just going to repeat that for the next 3 packets. So I got the red potatoes, 150 grams, another serving of the garlic cloves I cut up, 2 pieces of rosemary, extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, repeat. You guys get it. So yeah, once these are done, we'll move on. And again, I commentate this, so basically I'm just telling you what I'm doing as I'm watching it over after I've edited it. Just the easier way to do it, I think. But these are going to go in the oven at 400 degrees for about 50 minutes to an hour. And then they'll be done. And now I'm going to start cutting up the onion for the spaghetti. She's going to have a meal of spaghetti this week. So just dice it up nice and thin. There's no perfect way to do it. I'm not the best at probably cutting up some of this stuff. You guys might have better techniques, but that's the way that I do it. And then I'm going to get these Portobello mushrooms that I have, just rinse them off, get any dirt that might be on them. And then I'm going to cut these into smaller pieces as well. I actually like them somewhat thicker because they will cook down when I start to cook them, or when I start to saute them for the spaghetti. Now heading over to the stove, I'm going to get some extra virgin olive oil into my skillet there and put some ground turkey, put 1 pound of ground turkey, and then about 1/4 of the lean ground beef that I have. And then I'm going to add salt, pepper, and then I'm also going to add this everything spicy Flavor Guide seasoning. Again, pretty simple seasonings. It's just the way that I like it, and it's the way that she told me that she likes it. And she is going to have a little bit more protein with this week's meals as well. But I'm going to let the meat cook, or while the meat cooks, I'm going to start sauteing the onions and the mushrooms as well. And then when the mushrooms are pretty well cooked, well, you can see over there that the beef is basically done. I don't have to drain any of the grease, because with the lean beef and lean ground turkey, there really wasn't any grease there. And then I added the garlic to the mushrooms and onions. And then when those are done, I'm going to add the mushrooms and onions to the ground beef and ground turkey, add the pasta sauce, and then I'm also going to add about half a jar to almost a full jar, depending on how liquidy you want your pasta sauce in there. And then I'm going to let this simmer. So that will, simmer for about 5 or 10 minutes. And then I'm going to get a large pot going, get almost full with water, and then I'm going to boil this. And I'm actually going to measure out the pasta raw. So I'm measuring out 6 ounces of the veggie pasta. And then once the water has started boiling, I'm going to break them in half and then add them to my water. About 7 to 8 minutes later, that will be done. and then I'm going to drain the water, set the pasta aside, and wait for the rest of the food to finish, or finish cooking the rest of the food, I should say. So yeah, I'm just draining it here and set that bad boy aside. Move on. The roasted potatoes are now done. You can see them there. I just pierced them with a fork to make sure that they were done. Now I'm adding the flank steak to the oven. It's gonna cook for about 10 to 12 minutes per side on the broil setting. And depending on the thickness of your flank steak and how you like it prepared, it might take a little longer. So just keep that in mind. But then I'm cutting up the asparagus because the flank steak meal is also gonna have some pan-seared asparagus, just a different way to make it. So I'm adding some extra virgin olive oil to my cooking skillet. I got some salt and pepper, and that's it. Pretty basic seasoning on my asparagus. For her, she also likes, pretty simple seasoning when it comes to the veggies. And then I'm just gonna kind of mix these around a little bit. They will take maybe 10 minutes, depending again on how much you want them done. Doing it this way, they are gonna have a little bit more of a crunch to them. So I cooked them for about 10 minutes. And now it's time to weigh out the food. Again, in the description, you're gonna find a full breakdown of the measurements, the grams, the ounces that I used in the description, along with the total calories, protein, carbs, and fats for each meal. And I'm gonna try something a little different. Also in the description, you're gonna find some of the frequently asked questions that I get when it comes to meal prepping, whether it's how long do the meals stay good, how do I reheat the meals, some questions like that, how do I calculate the meals. Those types of questions are going to be in the description, so make sure to check those out. And that is it for me talking. I'm just going to let you guys enjoy the rest of this prep. Make sure to leave feedback, let me know what you guys thought. And as always, thank you for watching. Make sure you stick around to the end, hit the thumbs up, like it, share it tons of times. It'll keep me doing these videos. And that is it. Have a good one, guys.